Today I'm going to give you 4 tips that you need to know before you take on a freelance videography job. Hey, welcome. For those of you who are new here, my name is Peter and I am a videographer based out of Toronto, Canada. I do a lot of work in the sports, events, and commercial fields. And today we're going to be talking about 4 tips that you need to know if you're going out on a videography job. So a few months ago, I talked with my friend and coworker David about freelance videography on a podcast, and I feel like there was a lot of valuable insight that we said, and this footage has never been posted to YouTube or anything, but I think a lot of people could benefit from it. So I wanted to put it up. I'm going to say pardon me in advance because we did film on phones as we weren't really expecting to record video for this, but the audio quality is pretty good and there's a lot of valuable information, so I think you're going to enjoy it. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so welcome back to the channel. For those who do not know me, my name is Peter Sarellas and I am a freelance videographer from Toronto, and I specialize in shooting sports, music, and events. Today we are actually in studio, which is very nice. I'm here with my boy David and we are talking about some important things to keep in mind when you are on a freelance videography job. So, the first thing to keep in mind when you are on a freelance videography job is to be friendly and personable. You never know who you're going to meet at a freelance videography job. If you're shooting a wedding or if you're on set, you just want to be friendly to everyone. One, because being friendly is just a good thing to do. It makes you a good person, but also you don't know who there could be your next connection to lead to that next job or opportunity. I was at a wedding recently and I was just taking pictures of this couple and some distant relative came up and started talking to me. I wasn't going to be rude to that guy, even though I easily could have been, because I don't know who he is. He could be a bigwig at a TV company. And if he is, and I'm not nice to him, then I could be shooting myself in the foot and not taking advantage of a good opportunity. Now, that opportunity specifically may have not come to anything, but you really never know who you're talking to. So just be friendly to everyone. It gives you a better experience, it gives them a better experience, and everyone just has a better time while you're working.
I think it's the idea that you create your own luck. So I feel like you're putting yourself out there. You have multiple opportunities. You have that whole story with doing the Ryerson event. Like, it made me realize, like, you did one thing, it led to another, it led to another. So it's the idea that if you're always just like on you're focusing on like, oh, I need to get this job done, and then treating pretty much everyone that like you see as like, oh, they can be someone who leads me into this direction, then you'll just keep getting opportunities. I feel like that's how you get bigger.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And it's funny that you mentioned the Ryerson event because I'm actually going to get to another point on this list. We have 4 points we're going over, and the third one I'm actually going to talk about the event that you just mentioned. And we're going to give an example of that. But anyways, the second point that we're talking about is to always look like you're working. And I don't mean don't actually work and make it look like you're working. I mean, even when you're not working, make it look like you're being productive. And even better, actually be productive. For example, if you're on a break, don't just go into the corner and go on your phone. That's just not a professional thing to do. If you're being paid like a professional, then you should act professionally, at least in my opinion. So hey, maybe if you're on a break, then instead of going on your phone and letting everyone around you see the guy who's on his phone while he's at work, maybe go for a 10-minute walk. You can take some time, decompress, but at the same time, you can look for a new location to shoot some extra photos or get a pickup shot or something for your video that you're working on. So little things like that, just thinking about ways that you can continue being productive even when you're not working per se, I think that makes a huge difference, and it's a way that you can really stand out when you're on a freelance job.
Have you seen people do that? Like, from your own experience?
Yeah, like when I was working with people, I've definitely seen people who I looked up to, or like when I go second shoot for someone, I've definitely seen the main photographer take the initiative to, like, while I'm doing something, be like, hey Peter, go and just handle the client for 5 minutes and like take some photos with them at this location. I need to go for a walk. And they'll go and they'll find different places where we can shoot, or they'll prep for the next part of the day to make sure that that goes really smoothly, and I'll be handling the client in the meantime.
I feel like that's like a good idea in the terms that, you know, you're working while you're working, so instead of just using it as a time to go on your phone. The whole thing with going on your phone is like you kind of separate yourself from the mindset of working, which isn't always the best thing. If you're having a short break, you might as well just stay in that mindset of, oh, I'm at work, instead of going on your phone and maybe just getting off topic and not being as focused when you get back to the job. This might be a bit off topic. Like some YouTubers create content while they're creating content. So an example would be like, let's say you're recording a podcast, but you're also recording it, which is like what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Just multitasking and finding ways to be more efficient, I guess. And that actually leads perfectly into the other point that I was going to mention. So our third point is to go above and beyond. So this is basically do more than what is expected of you, and the client will remember you as being exceptional. So I was working for this music festival and they had hired me to produce a 5-minute longer version recap and a 1-minute shorter version recap. But instead of just delivering those 2 videos to them, I, after one of the nights of the performances, just went back to my computer really quickly and edited a couple GIFs of some shots that I remember were really fire. And I just sent those GIFs off to my boss, or the person who hired me. and they loved them. They thought it was so cool that they got some gifts that they can post on social media right now to promote their event immediately. And I didn't have to do that. It wasn't like in my contract that I had to provide them gifts, but by doing it, it just made me stand out, and they really appreciated that because I can show more work from that job. They get something to promote their event, and they're happier with me, and like I'm more proud of myself because I just did a better job.
You're more likely to get like rehired if that guy has connections.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or something it probably didn't even take you that much time.
Yeah, it took me like 5 minutes to go above and beyond and to provide something extra, but that's something that's going to make me stand out from that other videographer they had last time or the one they get next time or whatever, because I don't know, I'm willing to go that extra mile, and I think you should be willing to go that extra mile too if you get a job and you're working freelance. And the very last point that I wanted to talk about is focus on the long term. Now, I know that that's something that we've kind of incorporated into all the other points that we've talked about so far, but I think it's important to remember that when you're on a freelance job, you should be doing the best job you can on that job. But what's also really valuable is the connections that you make and maintaining those connections over a long period of time. If you have connections and people start to know you in their circles as a good worker, that's going to get you a lot of jobs in the future. And I feel like the best way to create a career is to have a good portfolio of work and good connections. And those two things combined, I feel like that's the key to success, at least in my opinion.
I feel like this whole industry is based off connections. Like, you're better off like than whatever sort of degree education you have in terms of this field. But I don't know, like, what do you have any tips, like, for someone who's not the most social person? Because a lot of making connections is, like, you come off friendly. Also, a lot of it is, like, if they think you're a good worker, they're going to want to work with you, rather than if you're just friendly but your work is horrible, they won't care. But do you have any advice for that? I feel like you're kind of an outgoing guy.
The way I always think about it is the feeling of regret for not taking advantage of an opportunity is way worse than the feeling of discomfort when you're initially going to take advantage of it. You feel like butterflies in your stomach when you're going to talk to someone or you're going to like pitch yourself, I guess.
You don't want to pitch yourself and like come off as not desperate, but like you're like, some people might think, oh, he's only talking to me so he can get like a job or something. You want to come off like, oh, I actually want to work, I want to get to know you.
Well, that's the thing. You want to actually take a genuine interest in people. Even though we're talking about getting jobs, making connections, building careers on this channel, like, you do want to take a genuine interest in people and actually get to know them, and don't build a fake network. Build real connections and actually get to know people. Like, even us, we're just bouncing off each other right now. I'm not here like, oh, by me talking to David, he's gonna do this for me and he's gonna do that for me. Exactly. It's like, no, man, I just like you and we hang out outside of these videos.
People are gonna be able to tell, right? We didn't just meet 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, like, people can tell. And it's because like we've established a connection, and when you go up to someone and actually want to get to know them as a person, that's the best way to build a network, in my opinion.
I get opportunities, I'm obviously. But let's say I needed a concert videographer or something, I know exactly where to go. I can ask you and to help me with that. Exactly.
And if I need like tips on any YouTube related stuff, like just go look at this guy's channel. Like, just go see his subscriber count. Go see the videos he has up. Like, he's not new to this. Yeah. So like, I know where I'm going if I need help with YouTube stuff. So like, building those connections and actually being interested in someone else, and then determining your strengths and helping each other. That's key. It's the most important thing. All right, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any other tips that you should keep in mind when you are on a freelance videography job or a freelance media job in general, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. And if you found this video helpful, then please make sure to subscribe, because I am releasing videos relating to freelance media work, videography, tutorials on a regular basis, and I would love for you to stick around. So go hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. All right, peace.